All right, we're here. This is the first official episode of the yet to be named Dallas Beer Guardians podcast. I
Yeah.
am Dennis McGowan, Vice President. We've got here Arjun, we've got Marcus, we've got Hubert. Guys, you want to go around, introduce yourselves a little bit?
I guess I'll go first. So I'm Marcus. I'm the current president of Dallas Beer Guardians, and I think it's my second year. And yeah, this is an idea that we all collectively came together to say that we're gonna do more outreach to the fans that we can also then use to engage with the team in a much deeper level. So I'm glad that you guys joined me on this journey, and hopefully long after we're gone, we still continue doing this. So, I'm happy to see where we go from here.
Long after
Arjun?
we got it sound like you're
How's it
expecting
going, guys? My name's Arjun Jitan. I'm the community outreach officer. I've served as the director for DBG for 2 years. You've probably seen me on the capo stand many times, jumping around, yelling, and going crazy when we actually win games. So let's hope we see more of that this year. But happy to be here.
Excellent. Hubert?
Hey, my name's Hubert. Most of the people in DBG probably recognize me because I walk around and talk to every single person ever. I'm a director. Sometimes I pour beers. I sometimes capo. Sometimes I play drums. I just, in general, try to help. I'm also a representative or one of the ISC. Yeah, that's about it.
So again, we are the Dallas Beer Guardians. We are a supporters group for FC Dallas, Football Club Dallas, up here in North Texas. We are involved with Marcus has his Trinity hat on too. Good call. We'll be talking about that and other North Texas soccer stuff at some point as well. But our main focus is going to be our beloved Football Club Dallas. No, not beloved. Handshake. What was that? All
right. Yeah, it's more of a love-hate relationship, right? It's like it's kind of like an abusive spouse that way.
FC Dallas is my form of self-harm.
All right, we're off to a positive start, guys. Love it. Love the energy.
Yeah.
Lots of stuff going on with the club this year. Lots of roster moves. So let's jump right into it. Let's go over the roster. Let's see. Let's go position group by position group, and let's talk about what we think of where we're at. We'll start with the number one goalkeeper, Martin Paz, reigning defending MLS All-Star from 2024, and he should have been keeper of the year if you ask me, but he got beat out on that. Did have the save of the year. What are we thinking?
Yeah, I think the one thing I will say, the one thing FC Dallas, like my beloved Jamaican national team, is that we'll always produce a solid goalkeeper. That's always been a positive. It's everything in front of that's always been up in the air. Because we had Chris Seitz, then Jesse Gonzalez, then so we've always been solid as far as goalkeeping goes, and I think that hasn't changed. I think I'm glad he stayed. There was rumors that he might leave. There's still rumors he still might leave in the summer, but for right now, I think we have a top 5 goalkeeper in MLS.
Listen, guys, we need to say nice things about Martin Paz. We bring in the Indonesian audience. We blow this up. That's how we do it.
Oh, that's facts. That's a fact. Best goalkeeper in the world. I mean, he got cheated, obviously, out of the goalkeeper of the year. I don't even remember who won, if we're being honest.
Was it
Charlotte's keeper?
Was it Kalina?
I have no idea.
Yeah, was it Kalina? Okay, yeah. If it's not Andre Blake, I don't care because two loves soccer. Anyone Jamaican and FC Dallas, and if there's an overlap, which hasn't happened since Javon Watson, I think that was no. Isn't Tariq Jamaican?
Malachi Molina is. I think.
Is it? Yeah, we have one half Jamaican guy on the team. He doesn't play though, so that's. But no, I think Paz will be fantastic. I think Antonio Carrera behind him is going to also be. He needs minutes though, so hopefully we loan him out to a USL Championship team so he can get a lot of minutes under his belt because I don't foresee him getting a lot of playing time, God willing, this season. So
yeah, I mean, Martin Paz will definitely miss some games for Indonesia at least, so hopefully we'll get some time there.
True.
I don't think there's much else to be said about Martin Paz. I mean, I think we're all pretty excited to have him, right? We love what he brings up personality wise and everything. Like you said before, FC Dallas always seems to have keepers with good personalities. You can go back all the way to Dario Sala, Kevin Hartman. Just either they were just really good dudes or they had fun personalities or, were willing to punch the other team. I don't know. I'm excited to have a good keeper.
Yeah, always. Right.
We've got
Yeah, I think it was what 20. Was it 2020 or 2021 where he basically by himself saved this team because
Carried the
I think he had
defense.
the most shots against. It was
Yeah.
A great goalkeeper will cover for some deficiencies in the center back, which we will talk about later because I think there might be some deficiencies
We'll
in
get
center back. But no, as far as goalkeeping goes, I think we're solid. What do you think, Dennis?
I think we're solid at the front. I do think there's some question marks as to who really is the number two. Is it Carrera? Is it the reigning MLS Next Pro Keeper of the Year, Michael Colodi? Who is
Certainly
gonna be-
doesn't seem settled. Yeah.
right. And I like Colodi, but he's a little undersized for the one.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Arjun, any thoughts from up there?
Honestly, I feel like it's gonna be a major just deciding factor of who's gonna be available. With the whole situation between Collodi and Carrera, Carrera needs a lot of minutes, and
Yep.
we haven't really seen him in action very much, even when it came to like Gold Cup breaks or international breaks while MLS was going on. We haven't seen him really do anything in the US Open Cup or anything smaller than that. And even in North Texas, we've seen Colodi just be like the main guy. And although he's undersized, he has a lot of experience. He's played against, some major people. We've seen him in the All-Star game showcase his skill set. Even though he's a little undersized, I think he could win the backup role easily. We just have to see how it goes.
I think, Antonio didn't get minutes with FC Dallas because we had a veteran goalkeeper back there.
He's dead to us now. He's dead to us.
Oh, I mean, yes, he did go to the other team. True. But no, we love him. So that was an opportunity. There wasn't really an opportunity for him to play with the first team, which is why we loaned him out. I watched some of the games on loan for him, and he has the size, he has the length, he actually has Jesse Gonzalez type body that he can work with, but it's not all coming together for him. And then, what's the other guy's name?
Colodi.
He is small, and from the championship game that we all went to, which was absolutely fantastic, great comeback, his feet is terrible, which as a goalkeeper in the modern game, you need to be able to pass the ball.
FC Dallas does love a goalkeeper with no feet.
yeah. It's just like I was watching that game and I'm like, there are a lot of times where they passed it to relieve pressure and he made no attempt to do anything but sky the ball. And to me, that doesn't show confidence in the modern game that goalkeepers, what they used to call them sweeper keepers. Like I need you to play. Yeah. That's old school. I need you to play high and you need to be basically the middle center back. And he doesn't quite have that.
For what it's worth, Paz doesn't either.
True, but Paz is the same thing with Jesse. Jesse had
he's
bad
calmer
feet.
at least, though. He's calmer.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is that you need to have one thing that you excel at. You're either at fantastic shot blocker where you can hit the corners, you can outreach and get those balls, or you need to be a good passer of the ball. If you don't have either of those things, I think the ceiling for you might be a USL Championship type career, which again is a solid career. I'm actually glad that option is there now for guys.
And there's a lot of options in North Texas as well for that.
Are any of our goalkeepers good at distributing the ball? I know Paz isn't. I know Colodi isn't. I guess is Antonio Carrera any good at distributing the ball?
No.
Well, Paz isn't horrible, but he's not going to put anything on a dime.
Yeah. What I'm saying is that none of them are good at that, but Paz is the best at shot stopping. Right.
He's at least calm too when the ball.
So it's like if you're playing at FIFA, you turn the dials up. The feet might not be great, but the shot stopping is absolutely fantastic. So
I see how you play. You play with the sliders too. I get it.
Oh, facts. You got to. When you create a player, we just 2K. You got to do that with NBA 2K too. You just play with the sliders.
All right. So letter grade for Arjun. Do you have another point?
Yeah, I was gonna say about Paz. I'm noticing a big improvement with some of his footwork and everything. There's still a lot of work to be done, but one thing that he has improved on over the years that we've seen him with the club is his clearances. They've been a little bit rough sometimes, and sometimes it has to do with just the back four not being really in sync with what he necessarily wants to do. So I think with this new regime that we have, with Eric Quill. I don't know why I said Peter Quill, but guess thinking too much.
Lucene.
Guardians. Yeah, Peter Lucene. But I'm really curious to see how he reacts with this new set of defenders that we're going to talk about very soon,
Yeah.
and what the chemistry is going to be like.
Yeah,
Agreed.
I mean-
And I will say, so in a little bit of preseason I did get to watch since there wasn't too much available. Paz's long ball looks really good.
Does he?
It looked a hell of a lot better this year. I think he's definitely improved there, and I think his international duty has definitely helped out with that too.
Yeah.
So
I
letter
mean,
grade for the
it's-
keeper position. What are we thinking?
The whole position or the
The
individual player?
position overall.
Oh,
Okay,
it's an A.
Marcus, you go first.
I think it's an A. We have a what's Paz 27, like prime. We have a prime age goalkeeper who's internationally recognized and wanted by actual like top 4 leagues, right? And then we have a young backup who with some seasoning can definitely make it there. So yeah, I think it's an A minus for sure. I just made a mistake. We actually should have started with the head coach, this coaching staff, because I think that's.
I was gonna get to that after
You want to get that last after the players?
Gotcha.
No, because I think his style, from all the interviews I've watched, I think his style of play is going to be different than Lucci and Lucene. So I think for sure.
All right. What about you, Hubert?
I give the position a solid A. We have as superstar of a player as I think we've really had here in a long time, just given his popularity internationally. I know it's mostly Indonesia, but numbers are numbers.
Mhm.
You know, they don't ask how, they ask how many. We've got a couple of promising prospects under him. I'd say it's a solid A.
Arjun?
I'm going to give it a solid A. Based on what we're seeing in the preseason, some of his improvements, and then with the new defensive formation that we're probably going to go, it's going to be less of relying on Paz to handle the ball, and we're going to be playing forward a lot more. So it's just going to be up to him to just make sure shots don't go through, make some of the epic saves he always does, and just remember, you shall not pass.
Love it.
For sure. Looking forward to that banner.
Yes.
Coming
that banner
soon.
coming soon.
Yeah.
I'm with you guys. I think A is the right spot here for keepers. Anything else on keepers before we move on?
No. Are we going to do center backs or are we going to go left, right?
Let's
Are we
start with
gonna do
outside
defenders?
backs.
Are we going to do defenders? Yeah.
Let's start with the outside back. I'm trying to go in numerical order as best I can here, but let's go.
Oh, okay. Oh, first of all, this is MLS. No one does that.
Numbers matter.
So you want to do both outside backs at once?
Yeah. Let's do the outside.
I think we should pull up a list of the players here because I think we're pretty thin.
I've
So,
got a
no.
list
So
of-
I have it here. So we have Farfan,
probably gonna
Marco
be the
Farfan.
starter on the left.
Yeah,
Farfan's
not
probably
a
gonna be
fan
on
of
our-
his. I think he has the thing Reggie Cannon had for a long time. I call it hip dysplasia, where every pass is negative, and it really frustrates me.
Here's where me and Marcus have also clashed a lot. I think Marco Farfan's one of the best left backs in the league, but defensively and his big mistakes he makes, he always makes them later in the year because we grind him to the ground.
That's true. I agree.
That's my opinion.
No.
Marcus
I'm
is
not
right,
disagreeing.
About
I'm not
the negative
disagreeing.
pass.
My whole thing is even at his best, he's bang average, in my opinion. Right? He's always positionally incorrect. Right? If you watch, I mean, like, y'all know where I stand when I watch the game. He 1-2 triangle pass, and you're around him because he always tries to play the space, and he's never in the right space. So, right, either you're going to play the man or you're going to play the space, and he tries to do both of those things. And to me, it's always 1-2 when you're around him. He also plays too far tucked into the center back at times, where he's like the ball is going out to his side, and you're like, are you going to attack him? You're going to attack him. He'll look behind him, see the center back behind him, and just stay there. And I'm like, no, you have cover. I need you to go attack the ball and then cross goal. And I'm just sitting here like, why? And another thing that I dislike is he over pursues on quick backs, where he'll just be running at full speed and not look over his shoulder at any point to know where the offensive players are, and then just completely run himself out of the play. And I'm like, oh, yeah. So that's why, to me, solid MLS pro. I don't even remember who we had before him, to be honest. I think it was Johnny, right? And then Johnny got injured. Johnny Nelson. So
It was Hollywood.
there's that. So we have Marco Farfan, then Nolan Norris, which I could have sworn was a 6.
So
But
that's an
You
interesting
tell me.
conversation. There's a lot about
Yeah.
Nolan Norris. We could probably spend a whole hour talking about Nolan Norris, but
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, on the depth chart, you're going to have Giovanni Jesus behind him if and when he comes back healthy.
yeah, that's the issue.
I think
Yeah,
he's going to be a good addition to that back line if and when he gets healthy. He was at the Cocktails and Cleats event. He looked
Hang
good.
on,
He
hang on.
said-
You said it left back? You'd have Giovanni
Yeah.
Jesus?
Yes.
No, he's a right.
He's a right.
He's a
Giovanni's
righty.
a right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or they've
okay.
played him at right beforehand.
Okay. I assumed he played both sides.
Yeah.
He might.
And at
I don't
right-
know. I've never seen him on the left.
So
Yeah, and
if we're looking at the right side, we've got what I think is a pretty solid upgrade over what we had last year. We've got Shaquille Moore returning to the Metroplex to come back to where he started at the academy.
I think we're all pretty happy with the Shaq Moore thing, but I
Yeah.
think I think he's going to be a great defensive addition. I feel a lot better about it. I worry about the energy we're losing without Tomasi though. Like the energy that Tomasi always brought on that right wing going up and down it was exciting.
I am not. I was never a big fan of Tomasi. I think
Yeah.
so. My analysis of Tomasi is a little bit about like what Marcus said about Farfan. I think he plays out of position too much. I think he plays way too high up the field.
Has kind of been a trademark of our wing backs the last few years.
Right. He
Yeah.
tries to play more of a wing back when he needs to be more of a stay-at-home fullback.
Do you think that's coaching or the player on that one?
A little bit of both. A lot of times, I think Tomasi looked lost out there when the ball was coming to him. He was out of position quite often, at least from where I sit. And I don't know if you guys are where I sit on the south end, so I look out over the field a little bit to a certain extent, and it just looked like he was always just sort of out of position, just always maybe either too high or too shallow. He was just never where the ball ended up.
Yeah, I think with Tomase, my issue with him is that he was an offensive player that converted to defense, and I think they badgered him into being a defensive player because there are multiple opportunities where they'll play a ball where if he runs onto it and crosses it, it's in the back of the neck, and he'll run at the ball, catch up to it, stop, and pass the ball backwards. And I'm like, I get that they're like defense first, but at that far up the field, don't worry about defense. You're an offensive player now.
Yeah, that's a hard one because I feel like it's been such a trademark of FC Dallas to take these offensive players and try to convert them to a wide back.
Yes.
Right? They've done it for so many years, and
they're looking for they're looking for a Holland's head, and that's not happening. That's lightning in a bottle.
That's a
It's
Swiss Army
worked
man.
out for several players. I mean, Nkosi Tafara, like he was a defender, but at one point during his collegiate career, he was playing striker. Like
Yeah, but he was always a defender first, wasn't he?
He was rotating between both, but it's
I
that.
think he
But
played,
that's where he got his
I think he
proud.
played defender at UConn.
Yeah, he played defender. Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
What
Seattle
I'm really
was where
thinking
it
about
changed,
is players that they forced to bring back as defense.
No,
That
yeah, I
maybe
agree.
really want to play there, like Paul, for example. Like Paul played right back for this team a few times, and that was weird as hell.
Yeah,
I know we kind of transitioned to right back, but one of the big concerns I wanted to bring up for our outside backs is the left back position because Hubert did bring up the concern about we tend to play Marco Farfan into the ground, and one of our big subs that we always had and utility players that we used a lot was Sam Junka. And during the Nico time, and then towards the small reign of Peter Luxine, we used both of them, and we used kind of Junka as like a converted wingback and Farfan on the left. And there's really no subs for Farfan at this point right now. We are really stacked looking at the roster, like at center and right back, but we don't really have any.
Who else do we have at right back? Sorry, not to derail you. Besides Giovanni Jesus, who's out.
We have
Herbert
quite a few,
Endele.
so we have Herbert
Endele,
Endele, and technically we do have Malachi Molina on the squad. He's probably not going to be, playing much on the first team.
Yeah, he'll probably spend a lot of time in
but
Texas.
Probably during the Open Cup we might see him, just depending on health of the roster. Hopefully strength and conditioning is going to not be as big of a problem this year. But
hopefully,
one person I wanted to bring up was, and actually I believe we just loaned him out. No, we got him. Enzo Newman.
Yes.
I don't know where he actually plays. Has he been
So
playing on
he's
the left?
he's a little bit more of a center back. We can touch on him in a minute when we get over to
Okay.
the center backs, but he might also play some outside back as well. I think I don't know much about him other than the little bit that I've seen. If anybody has anything else I want to add to that, but please go for it.
No.
I just want to say that when we're talking about the outside backs, my biggest concern is depth because I've named Herbert Enderle as a right back, but we prefer him as a wing, if I remember correctly.
Right, he's
Yes.
listed as a
Yeah.
forward on the roster
Okay.
officially.
So
Yeah.
I that's my problem with these two positions more than anything. Like I would always use a better player, right, at all times, but like we have no depth.
and
that
so
puts me
officially,
out there.
Nolan Norris
Players
is
we
listed.
run to the ground on the
Yeah,
wings. Like
officially the number 2 left back right now is Nolan Norris, but and I know this is strange because he's been mostly a midfielder, but he did play some center back, and I think he did play some left back with the U19s.
Yeah.
The
My
national team.
my issue with Nolan Norris is that he went on an undefeated run of yellow cards,
Yes,
and
yes, he is a
that's
yellow card merchant.
yeah, I don't
that's
need that.
unacceptable
Defenders.
as a defender. As a 6, it's unacceptable. As a left back, that we can't have that at all.
Yeah, I think
Right.
a lot of that for him is just he needs to tighten up his tackles, but he's a good tackler. He knows how to win the ball back. It's just
Yeah.
a matter of he needs to just control his body a little bit more so he's not sliding into people.
From the ones I've seen, a lot of them are he got beat and he didn't want to run.
Yep.
So I'm gonna pull your jersey, or it's like stupid yellow cards. It's like that was unnecessary.
Like a
Unless
wannabe
the guy had a
professional style.
clean run at goal, there's no need to do that.
Right.
Right. And as a young kid, it's like, you're so used to being the best player at your position, and then you finally start playing among professionals, and 1-2 passes and they're around you, and you're like, oh, what am I supposed to do? I'm just gonna foul them.
Right.
And I'm like, no, that's when you trust the center backs behind you. If you're a 6 or an 8, you trust them behind you, and then you just run back to cover. He's like,
He
no, I don't
definitely
trust
gets
anyone. I'm just
baited a
gonna foul.
lot.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see where he ends up. But
Yeah.
Great
To be
time.
honest, I didn't know we were that thin. Now
it's
that I looked at the roster, I'm like, wait, we only
I don't
what?
even think we have a backup right back officially right now, right? It's just Shaq on the right side and whoever else is, I guess it's going to be backs by committee right now until Jivan comes back. and-
Tomase hasn't signed with anyone yet, so
I'd take him back as my backup.
Yeah,
You
but,
know-
like, Herbert Enderle has played that position quite a bit, and I've really liked what I saw from him.
Yeah.
In that, he kind of brings the best of both worlds. I think he ended up kind of beating Tomasi for a short period of time out of that role. A lot of during the Luxane, uh,
Let's remember that
Era.
he won the position from a Tuamasi that had come back from an injury.
yeah.
that is true.
Yeah.
But he had some really good goal contributions. Like he helped set up some really good plays that led to really good opportunities. We may not have capitalized, but it was still like
Yeah.
some really good ones. And he has that attacking mindset. If he gets through, he can play a through ball very well, which is
Yeah.
something that Tomasi did lack in terms of crossing ability.
Yeah, he's one of the kids where I wish we would loan out more. And with Texoma being closer, maybe we'll start sending guys up there, like 2-hour drive.
Yeah, I think they've already got. We've already got a couple kids out on going out
On loan?
So, yeah,
Yeah, 'cause
but we've got a lot of roster to get to, and so let's go with our letter grades for the outside back positions, left and right together. Arjun, you go first.
C-. No, I'm just kidding.
You're not Arjun. Stop it. Wait your turn.
I'm gonna give it a solid C.
See, okay,
Yeah.
Marcus.
Yeah, see, I mean, it's a mile wide and an inch deep. There's like nothing there, to be honest. We got quality on the top level, but we didn't even sign kids for those positions. Like, you think all these homegrowns we signed, you would be like, hey, let's throw some kids back there. At the very least, they provide some energy, but nothing. Like, yeah, that's.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see where that goes. As the season ticks on, right? Like, because they're going to have to bring in somebody, and the club has alluded to there's still additional signings, right? So Hubert, your letter grade, even though we can't see your wonderful face here.
Yeah, for me, I give Wideback a D. I think it's a failure right now. If I'm approaching the whole season with this squad, that is a nightmare. As far as wing backs and wide backs are concerned for me. especially if they try to be progressive with it and like they're running them up and down the field.
Yep.
That just seems unsustainable to me.
I think we're one step forward, two steps back, which I think Shaq's a great signing. I think he's gonna be great, but we need.
And
more
I'm
than
here
two
with
guys.
Marcus too. Like, how do we not at least have kids there? Unless those are the reinforcements that are coming, and I'll change my tune if you give me a good reinforcement, even a solid backup for both sides.
Yeah.
So let's
don't need a
move
superstar.
inside, and let's talk about the departed folks here. Are at least my beloved Nkosi Tafari and
Rest in peace.
and Omar Gonzalez are both departed from the club, and to replace them, we have brought in Lalas Abubakar, and okay, I'm going to give it a go. Osaze Orhide, I believe, is the correct pronunciation for that.
Not bad.
If I'm wrong, he can call me out at that 24-hour if he wants to come out and join us and call me out there if I pronounced it wrong. My apologies.
Yeah.
But so I think if we look at them one to one, if we look at from Omar to Abubakar is an upgrade, and I think Kaz to Urahide is maybe a slight upgrade, but I think those guys are close to on par. At least that's where my opinion is here. And then of course we've got Ibeagha rounding out the starter spot here. This guy is on billboards. They seem to love him. I don't think he's the greatest center back in the world. I don't think he's a CB1, but that's my thought here. What do you guys think?
We also signed a 19-year-old from Portugal.
Sure.
So
That is correct.
Alvaro Augusto.
Yes,
Yeah,
Alvaro
but-
Augusto and Enzo Newman that Arjun just mentioned is listed as a center back as well. I don't know if any of those guys can play outside back. If they do, that might change the conversation we had earlier. But what are you guys thinking about center back?
I think oh, go ahead.
No, yeah, sure. First off, losing Omar, not a big deal. He was always just a depth piece, right? So I don't think that's a big deal. Just cool that he was from Dallas while he was here. Obviously, I think what we're all talking about at center back this offseason has been Tafari being traded, right? I think we're all going to miss Tafari. We're all going to miss like his personality, his attitude, and the style.
He's a fan favorite, right? The fans loved him. I mean, he's from New York. I love him. He's from Long Island. He's But I think we all. No, go ahead.
I think as far as our center backs last year were concerned, I believe he was our CB1, and I believe he was our best center back. He was good for a mistake every now and then, but at this level, that's just how it happens. But he had the recovery speed to make up and everything. Anyway, all that to say is we're going to miss Nkosi Tafari. Now I want to talk about the player we've theoretically replaced him with, which is Osaze. Yeah. What I like about Osaze is that he's younger than Nkosi, and I think that his quality will be maybe just shy of Tafari, which is not an upgrade in the position, but long term feels really good to me. My concern is it feels like it was almost a like for like switch for a lot more of a price tag. Maybe in 2 years, I'm looking back going, great, that was a fantastic move. But for now, when you're just looking at this season, it feels like you're paying more for a similar style. And you're pairing him with Ibeagha, who is not going to get better at this point. I don't think Ibi was bad, but I don't think Ibi is the starting center back that we've wanted for a few years, especially once we've been used to Matt Hedges for so long. In terms of everybody else feels like depth to me. We keep pronouncing it Abubakar. I thought it was Abu Bakr, like the Islamic greeting thing. I don't know. Anyway, I think he's a great depth piece. I think they probably view him as a center back one rotation, if I'm being honest, or starting.
I mean, they gave him the number 5 jersey, so
I don't think they view him as a depth piece like we're talking about. I think they view him as that 3-man rotation, and he will be consistently starting.
Yeah,
Abubakar has been a consistent starter throughout his MLS career. We last saw him with the Rapids, but when you look back at his career, he's been with so many. He's been with quite a few. He was a long time he was with the Crew for a long time, and he was one of their in and out defenders, and he was part of their. I believe he won an MLS Cup with.
He did.
Yeah, with the Crew.
The Columbus. Was it the
Columbus or LA?
COVID year? Ibiaga won one with LA, and then he
That's right.
got traded to us. But I believe Abubakar did win.
LAFC, by the way.
Yeah, he won. I believe he got an MLS Cup with Columbus. I could be wrong though. I have to double check
Yeah.
my
Look,
facts. But
I
Yeah,
like Lawless, but like he's a dog as far as I'm aware. Like he fights hard, he's a hard worker, but I just it feels like when we pulled Ibby in, it's like this guy will be a good serviceable budget player in the position, and I just feel like we keep deciding to go budget at center back.
yeah, I certainly think Osaze. I think he's eventually going to be the starter. I don't know if it's going to happen right away. I think they're going to kind of like test the waters with him, kind of figure out the chemistry, see who he works best with, and kind of make something out of that. But what I do like about Asaze, I like his ability to win aerial battles in some of the stats and like some of the videos I've seen of just
Wait, can
his
we pull
time.
up those stats? Because I thought he had a terrible record at aerial duels.
I will have to double
Am I
check,
confusing the
but
player
some of
here?
the
No, he was pretty solid in Colorado.
No,
no,
sorry.
I'm talking about
Osaze.
Oh,
not,
Osaze.
yeah.
To be
I
honest,
thought
I haven't looked up
Osaze
his
had
stats.
terrible vertical numbers.
Yeah. I looked up his stats. He's a taller guy. I saw the highlight package, but that's a highlight package. You know how
Right.
that goes. So, but he says in his interview, he basically says like, I'm willing to do the dirty work, and to be honest, I'll take it.
Bastard.
That is what we need here, right?
Yeah.
That's we need somebody that's willing to get down and dirty.
We
because
haven't had a guy that's been willing to be that guy for a while.
Yeah.
judging by the fan base as well, it seems like they were very shocked to part with him. It seems that they thought he had a big bright future with the club. When they announced his departure. So
I mean,
let's
he's
just
had a
hope.
decent career. He played at Celtic when they played European ball. He didn't. I don't think he made the starting 11.
I think
at all. But
yeah, I think he played one game with them, so that's unfortunate. I think he's a guy. I think he's a guy that is looking for an off ramp to get back onto the first division ball, and I think he's using this as that.
Sure,
I'll take it though. If we got a guy who can play in first division in a year or two, and he can show the world he can do that from here, I'll take it.
Yeah.
If he develops how they think he's going to develop, I'll be excited for the move. It just might be painful for a year. I don't know. I think League Two is a great talent pool for MLS personally, but it's doesn't always translate.
Yeah, I think that's a conversation for another
Yes,
pod. Is like we should talk about all the League Twos we should actually go hunting for. J League, K League, like yeah. So
all right. So position grade, center back. Hubert, you first.
C+, B- for me.
Okay.
I don't think that they've improved the position. At least starting wise, I think it's nice that we have a little bit of depth there that's younger this year, which is a nice change. So I guess, I'll go with a B- because I'm happy to at least have some young guys that we're trying to work up.
Marcus?
To be honest, it's rough. It's a C+.
Okay.
The fact that Omar didn't retire after this is and then
surprising.
The Tafari switch to me makes zero sense. I will give them credit for not going into the season with 2 30+ center backs. Again, I'm not an ageist. I'm just being a realist. Like you need one veteran, and then you need a youngster that can cover said veteran's mistake. I never want to go in the season again with 2 30-somethings. That was the last time. I think that was Maddie and Rito, and at least Maddie still had a pep in his step back
Martinez.
Then. Was it Martinez and
didn't Martinez and Maddie play together at some point? Am I wrong?
They did.
Actually, they did. You know what's funny?
That was
that actually got me
under Nico.
Yeah, that actually got me blocked from a certain podcast. Is because I pointed out the winning record when Martinez and Hedges played together and when they played separate apart from each other. Because at that point, Maddie still had a step. Obviously, we got rid of him. Not got rid of him. He left just in time because the Toronto trade was terrible. The Austin trade, I think Maddie should have stayed here as a backup.
Yeah.
Retirement?
Loyalty aside, good business.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
No, look, I think he still needs to come back here as a CB coach, an academy coach,
Please.
something like that. But yeah, two 30+ center backs is a terrible idea. So I always,
B minus.
yeah, B minus basically.
Arjun, what's your letter grade?
I'm gonna give it a B minus, and my reason to give it a B minus is that there is a lot of effort to overhaul this back line, and there's a lot of depth and combinations that we could use. Especially with the signing of this young kid, Alvaro Augusto. It seems like the club just kind of fell in love with him during that, like the whole story of how they didn't have anyone signed and they just was like, hey, you want to come in and practice with us and participate? And it seemed like they really liked what he could offer. I really want to see it on the field so that way I can have more of a sample size. But I think like to have a 19-year-old that we got for relatively cheap, and if he turns out to be like very serviceable, then there's a good chance that the end of season grade could go higher. We just have to kind of see how this first game against Houston goes. Like if we're seeing some solid defending, then yeah. But I think we have enough, we have some veterans in there and we have some youth, and I think that there's a opportunity to grow. That's why I rate it higher than our outside backs.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to go with a B here for center back. I do think we've upgraded both spots, or at least the CB2 and CB3. I think we've upgraded here. I don't think I don't think Ibiaga should be CB1. Not that I dislike Ibiaga. I just don't think he's a great leader. I just don't think he's a great CB1. I wish we had one more body back here, but I do think that it's going to be serviceable. And as we move a little bit forward up the roster here, we'll get a little further up. But I think we're going to see a lot of 5-2, 5-3 games here as the season goes on here.
Ooh, that's rough.
This will be fun.
Moving up to the midfield, I'm going to go down the roster here. And I know some of these guys are technically wings, but the club has them listed as midfielders.
Yeah, are you going to go by position in midfield or just midfield as a whole? Because I do think we could probably separate them a little bit.
Yeah, all right. Let's go with the true midfield. Let's look at a real midfield. We've got Show, we've got Delgado, we've got Anthony Ramirez. I don't know where he really fits in here.
NTSC.
We've got Diego Garcia. We've got Sebastian Double L Leggett, and then we've got our Paxton Palmical here. We've got a lot of bodies in here. Who stands out?
I mean, Leggett probably is your top one there, right? Out of that group.
Yeah, I think Leggett needs a show year for sure.
Oh, and Ramiro. Who was
I forgot about Ramiro.
We brought in
which everyone keeps calling Romario, and it's triggering me.
Yeah, it's a little strange. I mean, we've got our 31-year-old 5'7" Brazilian in Ramiro in the midfield.
The only complaint I have for Ramiro is that we just downgraded from Iamendi. It's right. Well, we got a guy.
As far as I know, Yaramendi's not signed anywhere, so who knows? He may pop up back here before a couple of weeks.
Yeah, we got a guy who's 3 years younger, but not a Champions League winner. So it's one of those, like, we had our version of Messi, right? A guy who was played at the highest level and could still play at a semi-good level. If he's on the field, we're a better team. The problem is, as age goes, he's going to be on the field less.
He's your man who's smart enough to like hold on to his energy too, like Messi. We're like, yeah, he runs when he has to, not just because he's
Yeah.
So not only that, Yaramendi was probably the fittest person on the roster.
He won the beep test last preseason.
Like he had.
Well, the beep test isn't
very
fitness.
Fit,
the beep test is understanding when to burst.
Yeah,
yes.
But his control was very good. But
just what you want
obviously, at his age, injuries do happen and can be injury prone. But he did take quite a little bit of hits during the season. There were many
he picked
times
up a couple of knocks. He picked up a couple of yellow cards. He had a couple of yellow card suspensions too.
But all his yellow cards, I would argue, were worth it. The man knew when to get a yellow.
Yeah, they were game saving plays or goal saving opportunities.
Yeah, there was one that was a absolute professional foul that resulted in a yellow card that resulted in a accumulation suspension that he missed the next game, which I believe was in, I forget where the next game was, but it would have been a turf game.
Yeah,
And
Yeah.
so
big brain.
absolutely brilliant move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, to Marcus's point though, having like I think Marcus have used the word like a touch of superstar or a touch of like that one special, like
Yeah.
something special. He elevated the people around him, right?
Yes.
And you replaced him with Ramiro, at least effectively, as far as I understand. I don't know what to expect from Ramiro. I haven't seen much from him. I don't know anything about the player. Just that, as far as I'm aware, he's had a relatively successful career traveling around Brazil, but it's hard for me to not miss Iaramendi when I'm thinking about Ramiro. He's an unknown quantity for me, though. I don't know what to expect from him. At his age, I don't know if he's injury prone or not. I know he got that little knock, so I don't know. I think he's my biggest question mark, and if he shows up and actually does pretty well, I'll think the team will take a decent step up.
We didn't see a lot out of Show last year too. Show was a late addition to the team. Came in about halfway through the season. He was a summer window acquisition.
Yeah. I think there's a lot to see from Show, and I think we'll get to see more of it this year. But one player I'm really excited about is Patrickson Delgado. Like,
Are you saying that Show has to put on a show?
Yeah.
Dad joke. Dad
Is he
joke.
gonna
Okay.
show
there
out?
it is.
Oh no.
Come on.
It's
Okay.
showtime.
Yeah,
But
go ahead.
Oh,
I'm really excited about Patrickson Delgado. I feel like he was kind of a very skilled player that was just kind of thrown around a lot, and it also had to
Yep.
do with like Jesus Ferreira just like not deciding where he wanted to play and playing everything but attacking. So I think it really hurt Patterson's development because like there were many times where they wanted to play him as a six. You got for backtracking, Patterson's trying to play the ball up, so they moved him up to kind of give him like a facilitator role, kind of like an 8 or a 10 when he's really not that, but he has a really good shot. He's shown that he can shoot the ball really well, but I think he's a very good passer and he can probably hold his own as a defensive six, which we haven't seen in a while.
Was it Cafumana or Delgado that they played at the 10 a couple of times last year that hit a couple
It
of
was
bangers?
It was
It's Delgado.
Delgado, actually.
Okay. Couldn't remember.
Didn't Delgado ended up with like 4 or 5 goals this last year?
He hit a couple of bangers and he had some assists. I couldn't tell you the exact number.
He had an
Yeah,
absolute
he,
banger. I think it was Tampa Bay that he hit a ball sweet as you could. It was absolutely
Yeah.
beautiful.
And then he got one against RSL. Like he hit a really good shot against RSL, I think when we were playing away.
Yeah, I
But
remember that.
he finished up with 4 goals and 3 assists last season.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's
and
serviceable
they came
for a
towards
guy
the
that
end of the
just
season.
popped in. Yeah.
He definitely showed his worth under the interim coach.
He grew into
under
it.
Peter. Yeah, he really grew into his role, so I'm really happy we got to bring him back. We
But
didn't
are
lose
you
him for
seeing
the-
him as an 8 or are you seeing him as like the backup for Lucho at that point?
I'm seeing him as
We
the
haven't gotten that
six.
far yet. We haven't
Well,
mentioned
but-
that name yet.
And that's fine, but like if you're talking about Delgado, you got to consider where he's going to play. Like, are they playing him?
Yeah,
as a
well,
6,
they have
8
him as a
finish?
defensive mid.
Yeah, I
when we
think-
get to
Oh, you're
our
thinking it's like
future-
him and Leggett basically in the midfield, probably initially, kind of.
Well, no,
Well-
it's going to be him. It's going to be him and Romero.
Oh yeah, keep forgetting Ramiro.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
think Show's a starter. From what I've seen from Show, he's his.
Sorry, I
the
meant
ball-
Delgado.
Yeah. No, Delgado to me is a starter. Healthy, he's a starter for me.
Yeah,
Uh,
he's a six. Like they're gonna plug him in as the six. I think
You
he
really think
fits
Delgado's
that-
a 6?
Yeah,
Yes.
I really think so.
Is
Where
he
do you
not more
think?
attacking
Where do you
minded?
think Leggett fits into this?
Leget's going to be up front, so it's going to be
Gonna be around
once we
8.
get further up. So we're going to have our 4 back line, right? So Farfan,
Yeah, let's talk.
Shaq Moore,
Yeah,
and then
formation.
center backs. Center backs, pick your choice on center backs, right? It's Farfan, Shaq Moore, and center backs. Then right in front of them, I'm thinking Delgado and Romero, right? So pivot there. And then the 3 in front of them once we get there is obviously the guy we spent $5 million for, Leggett. And I'm hoping Siki, but it probably won't be Siki. So that's who I'm hoping for the 3 in front. But we'll see how that goes.
Then we've got
So-
Paxton Pomical, who might be back training in the next
Gotta-
couple of months.
Yeah.
We don't know. He's a
I'm just not
giant.
convinced they play Delgado defensively because when he came in, the first thing they said and he said was, "I'm a 10."
Is that he did say that, and then they plugged him
We're
as
in a
6.
6. So
And then
Yeah.
they put him at 10 a few times, and that's when he balled out.
Yeah,
all right.
fair.
So midfield letter
Yeah.
grades. We'll start
Hard.
with you this time, Marcus.
Midfield. Well, we're talking defensive midfield or just midfield in general. So we're including Leggett
Break
and
it
all
apart
of them.
now.
Yeah,
We can break it
yeah.
apart.
If we're doing midfield, we actually, I think we got better. Right.
Okay.
Iamendi aside, I think overall we got better. If we figure out the 6, I think Delgado, you think Show. If we figure out 6, I think we're solid. Because whoever the 6 is gonna have to cover a lot for the center back pairing, right? What's gonna happen is I'm assuming the wings are gonna go up the field, center backs are gonna split, the 6 is gonna slide backwards, and basically we play 3 in the back offensively. And then when they're playing defense, obviously we change the formation. But yeah, I think as a midfield goes, I think we got slightly better. So I'll say a B.
Hubert?
Yeah, I'm with Marcus. My biggest fear is figuring out the 6, which, I mean, we've been struggling with figuring out a 6 for a long time now at this point. As FC Dallas fans, we've suffered through it. Yeah, I think we've improved a little bit on the midfield. The more I look at it, the more I'm more comfortable with it. My concern is we don't have a standout in this name of players in terms of like a star. Leggett could maybe be that on his good days. So I'm going to go B as well.
Arjun?
I'm gonna give it a B plus. I think there's a lot to work with here. It seems that a lot of these guys are interchangeable. We just have to see what Quill thinks, and when we see that first starting 11, I'm really curious to see what this first starting 11 is going to look like in Houston. What kind of shape we're going to run. But I think there's a lot of talent that's just like not really showing right now, but I think there's a lot, something special could be cooking up in the midfield. We just have to kind of let it simmer and see what it turns into.
I think this is definitely the biggest question mark here, right? This midfield is there's a lot of questions. There's a lot of options. There's
We
not
haven't even
really a
talked about the
standout yet.
kids.
Right.
Like we haven't even talked about how some of these kids could be developing soon.
Yeah.
Right. And
Yeah, here's the question. Who's going to be the Logan Farrington? Who's going to be we haven't even talked about the draft.
Logan
picks.
Farrington's going to be the Logan Farrington.
No, but what I mean is who's the rookie, right? So it was Logan Farrington. Then we had what's my guy who went to Orlando? Like we've had a couple of rookies who absolutely showed out their rookie year.
We've hit on draft picks pretty decently.
Yeah.
A few times.
Yeah. Yeah, but we've also we also discussed earlier how we missed on Nelson, Bartlett, Jennings. So
See them go somewhere and do something. Although,
yeah.
at least Nelson played for the team a bit, and
Yeah, no, I mean, to be honest, if Nelson hadn't gotten injured, I think
that
he's
back
still here.
injury was scary, right? That's
Yeah, it was like I think he tore ACL or whatever. So I think at that
was a
point,
back thing, wasn't it?
was it back?
I think it was a back injury.
Yeah, but either way, what I'm saying is, if he had stayed healthy, I think he's still here because I think a left foot would have been beautiful.
Yeah, you let him go.
But
because
I
it was a
think-
risk to you.
We want to go forward or we want to go outside next?
Let's go forward.
Okay,
Let's
yeah,
see who's the
let's go.
two guys up front. We know it's Musa and
Okay.
what's
Do we
my guy
need to
from
talk
Utah?
about our strikers much?
Yes.
Can we all? Okay, go ahead.
I don't think there's even a question. Musa's the guy. That's it. I
Yeah.
think I'm and Farrington playing behind him. I think at the 9 role, I'm going to give it an A. I think we're an A.
Yeah.
And I'm going to jump right to a letter grade here because I don't think there's a lot to talk about here. I think you've got Musa, you've got Farrington. There's no question mark, right?
I think Musa, I'm assuming 15 goals. If I can get another 5 or 6 from Farrington, and then everybody else populates.
I'm going to go on
Underneath it.
record. Musa is going to break FC Dallas single season goal record.
You think he's going to pass Jesus
I
at
think he's
18?
I think he's going to pass everybody. I think he's
Yeah,
going to
I'll go on record here and say I think he's going to push for the boot this year.
I would
Ooh.
not be surprised to see that.
You know what's funny?
I think he's going to push for the boot.
I think reverting back, if he took penalties, he actually would have been closer, but he only took one penalty.
Well, and if you
And-
subtracted penalties from all the other guys on top of that, like I
Yeah,
know that's
so-
not how the boot works. So
Yeah, because he only took the one penalty where he missed and retook and then scored. Yeah, which was absolutely awesome because the guy was talking a lot of So I love that reaction. Is when I fell in love with Musa, where he ran directly up to the guy and was like, "Yeah, what?" So I miss that kind of energy. We haven't had that since Cobra, right? The
we
nice
really
guy who will
haven't.
get up in your face. So
well, what's your grade for the position then, Marcus?
it's an A. It's
An A, right?
Farrington. I think if Jesus was here, would Farrington start? That's a question. That's right. But he's not, so it doesn't really matter. So it's Farrington's ball to run with it. Here's the thing: they could also put Acosta up there. They could put Luke. Yeah, so he could play a false 9. I think that'd be beautiful. I think him and Musa up there making plays will be absolutely, because that was a disconnect last year. There were plenty of times where Jesus could have fed the ball and just was a second late or a tad slow, or his touch. That was the thing about the end of last season is Jesus's touch. I know he came off injury, but like your touch is supposed to go with you, right? I didn't know that was a thing you lose.
The touch in the final third just wasn't there.
Yeah, it
And
just
that's
wasn't
when we
there.
saw-
So
And that's when we kind of saw the breakout of Farrington. We thought Farrington was going to be this like number 9. I'm going to score goals. I'm going to try to take every shot that I get. And then Farrington just started becoming an assist machine. Like he started using that power that he had to like one of the best assists from Farrington was like he just sends like an absolute laser through midfield and it just threads it perfectly to Musa. And Musa just easy goal.
okay,
Well,
I think we're misremembering that, but yeah.
I think the position is an A for me, but I think we also need to talk about how Farrington has been talked about a lot as a wing this offseason. And we should also include him in the wide talk.
Yep.
I think-
So we're getting close to time here, but let's try and finish this out as best we can.
Yeah.
So we can keep this tight as our first episode. We don't want to make too many people run away from us after the hour.
Is this tight? An hour? Is this?
It's a tight hours. It's a
I'm
tight
loving this
30-minute
hour-long,
podcast. and we came
30-minute
up
chat
with-
we're having.
I did say 30 minutes. Maybe we do a 2-parter. We'll just cut it in half.
Anyway, let's keep going.
So you know what? Let's just jump right to the gold mines. We'll spend a couple minutes talking about this. I think this is the best move that this team has made in a very long time. Bringing in Lucho Acosta, our new number 10, the leading MLS active goal involvement guy, and I think he's going to be a great addition to this team. And I don't know what else there is to say other than what's already been said. But what do you guys think?
Is he Mauro Diaz 2.0 or is he?
I think he's bigger than that personally, just because
Really?
hurt half the
I
time.
think.
so.
I think people are forgetting Mauro Diaz got us our only trophies. So in the
Mauro
last 10 years.
Diaz was hurt half the time though.
Yeah, no, but
And-
those 2 years we got our trophies. Supporters Shield in 16, where we tied with Red Bull and lost
He
on
also
goal
had a
difference.
Castillo on the side, drawing attention off of him. I don't
Fair
think we have
enough.
a Castillo on this team right now.
Yeah.
But I always have to remind people he got us both our trophies. So
I can't say
Fair.
one man did that, but I can say he played a big part.
yeah,
I think the bigger thing to talk about though is that Dallas went out and got a guy that's a known commodity in this league.
Yep.
Like, we're always used to sticking with our identity and like signing the next best and brightest kid and like who's the next like up and coming star that's gonna like make a break. But we went out and said we're gonna get someone that people know around the league. It's a proven MLS MVP, like has played just been outstanding and is just well known. And
Mark,
we got him
counterpoint.
for a bargain
Counterpoint.
price.
we wanted. What's my guy from Portland?
Oh, I want to
Evander?
talk about this move because
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we
this
wanted
is
someone
big.
else. This is, I know on another podcast they mentioned this. This is single entity as its best. We want that guy. That guy doesn't want to come here. So what we're going to do here is play a little 3-dimensional chess, move the pieces around slightly, and then, done deal.
But I think
Because-
everybody
See,
walked away
this
from this
is
happy.
where-
I think
No, not saying
I
it's
think-
a bad thing. I'm just saying it's one of those like we he was not on
No,
our
this
radar.
doesn't happen in Europe. This doesn't happen anywhere else. This is a absolutely purely American sports.
Right. This is the equivalent of the Manchester City Football Club saying, "Hey, that guy from Australia, you want him, but we want that guy." So what we're gonna do is we're gonna move the guy from Australia to New York FC, and then we're gonna move the guy from Manchester City to. It's really just moving pieces on a chessboard.
It's American.
Yeah, we're just all on the same payroll. That said, great move. I think we all. Dennis can attest to this. Through the Slack, I was negative Nancy. Why haven't we signed anybody? And he kept repeating, "Hey, the window's not open." And I'm like, everybody else is signing. He turned out to be right, so I'll be the bigger man and apologize again, public.
We got to
Better
publicly
looking
record it. Love it.
Yeah. So we waited, which is I think even Hubert said like, "Hey, the Hunts have been known to wait till dead last to actually get it done." So you're right, known quantity. MVP, Landon. I always love that the MVP trophy is Landon Donovan, who is one of the biggest flameouts I've ever seen. Like he literally left, came back, left. It was whatever. Anyway, but
does anybody think that this was a bad move?
No.
I do want to disagree.
Except
on
for that one Austin
about...
guy in the comments saying it's bad for all parties.
Oh my god. Yeah.
God, Arjun,
that wasn't so like this is one thing I wanted to talk about because like it shows that the front office had a huge ambition to bring someone in that is a known commodity and a major superstar. And this is one of those where I really think that, after seeing Evander go to Cincy for 12 million, as much as we want to say that we weren't going to get Evander, I think we could have gotten Evander.
He went for what we bid.
I think Evander was going to be on his way here. And it seemed that Cincy wanted Evander really bad. And we at one point, Zanata has had conversations about the Acosta deal and everything and trying to get it done. And it wasn't working out with I believe the Argentinian club. They didn't have enough money. And, it led to a point of let's reach out to Cincy and see what they think about Acosta. If they're wanting to sell for like 10 million, then we can just say no thank you, and we could just pay 2 million more and get Evander.
No, I don't. I think we, with this new money trading thing that MLS is trying to try out, I think we're going to run into the same problem the Mavs did, where we have the money to spend, but the player doesn't want to come here, right?
I don't think Evander would have not wanted to come here.
Yeah,
I think he went to Cincy because Cincy wanted him really bad, and they were willing to give us Lucho Acosta for a bargain price.
Yeah, I will say first off, Evander had no choice in this, as far as I'm aware. So
yes,
Evander just went whoever paid for him. My read on this whole thing was more like we got an interception here.
Yes.
Someone like Zanata or someone saw the tea leaves, went, "Oh shit! If I position myself, I'm gonna like win here," when I had nothing to do with it originally. And I think we just played the market really well and got our piece. I really believe that our bid for Evander was less of a we're gonna get him and more of like, see, we can compete. Maybe cut us a deal. And like we'll take that guy off our hands on a discount and perfect. I really think it was all just smart playing. I could be wrong. Obviously, they could just be feeding us, a narrative, which they like to do. But also, like I don't know how much I buy the narrative about players not wanting to play in Dallas, at least for FC Dallas.
Yeah.
Like I don't know how many players have straight up been like, "Yeah, I'm not going there."
No,
like it is with like the Mavs and stuff like that.
So I think domestically, it's less of an issue. Right. I think when it comes to like international players, like, hey, you want to go play in America? We both know where they're going to want to go. Right. Well, Miami now is the additional team on top of the two normal.
I mean, who wouldn't want to go to Miami? Right.
Fort Lauderdale, but we won't talk about that. So
we can say that about a lot of clubs though.
That's fair. But yeah, it's kind of like Milwaukee, the Bucks. Oh, fair enough. Like the Bucks, I think the reason we went the way we went is because if you're a draft pick, you have no option. You have to come play here. We had to rephrase that. We had to build our team the way the Spurs built their championship winning team, right? We're going to draft and we're going to go find guys that no one else knows about and we're going to win. Now, we weren't as lucky as the Spurs. We didn't get 5 championships out of that. That would have been great.
Right.
But I think the Evander deal was because we also offered 12. So why didn't he come here? Right? We also wanted him. I think Cincy basically threw in like, hey, if you stop bidding for him, we'll just,
Make it.
I
easy
really
for
think
you.
that our bid was literally to get Lucho for cheaper.
Is that what it is? You think
I
it was
really think that.
you think it was
Yeah, honestly, it could've
4-dimensional
been
chess?
that.
I really
might have
do.
been.
Yeah, it might have been a
possible.
four-dimensional
I could be
chess.
completely wrong, and I'll accept that. I
Just throw a bid
we'll
on
never really
Evander.
know,
Just
unfortunately.
yeah, just
Okay.
throw a bid on Evander.
'Cause
Just
if you
to
think
They'd never
about it,
admit
ruffle
that.
some feathers.
You
Yeah,
had a club that was offering 10 million for Lucho Acosta, and then they couldn't. Their sales didn't work out, and they didn't have the money. Like,
No, I agree. I think
Now, I'll remind you guys that Lucho did have a no trade clause, so Lucho did decide to come.
Yeah.
here.
so. He decided to come, and
Yeah.
he seems happy. Like he was happy with the fans meeting him
See
at
what
the
happens
airport.
long-term,
I think
but right now,
Look,
Yeah.
his biggest complaint was that he did not have anyone to give service to. Right. And now
right, he
got,
wanted a big striker.
He's got Logan. He's got we've got Logan. We've got Musa. He's got dogs in front of him now. Right. So there's.
We've used dogs way too much in this conversation already.
I know. FC dogs.
Anyway,
Dogs the podcast.
All right, so the number 10 position, I'm gonna give this an A+. I don't think we could have done any
Is-
better. And
Is he a 10 though?
I think
think
that's the
it's
intent,
big
right?
thing.
I
Or
think
at
he's
least
closer
play
to
him
a
as
true
a
10
10
we've had in a
or-
while.
Yeah. Like, is he a 10 or is he a false 9? Because I watched him in
That's
Cincinnati.
fair.
He's
That's fair.
a false 9. He's
Yeah,
like
that's
Maxi in New York FC. Like he could be a 10, but no one plays with a 10 anymore. Like Messi is the last living
Yeah,
He's
human being.
I think Acosta's going to be as close to a true 10 as you're going to see.
we want to
for
call him a
for while.
playmaker.
Yeah,
Is that what it is? Yeah. He's a
Maybe-
facilitator. That's
Or
what
our
he's.
linchpin,
Yeah.
maybe.
Okay,
it's
so
basically like a forward pivot essentially.
yeah. So I think so. Let's give this off season a grade. I think we all.
We didn't get to the outside yet. We can do a lightning round on the outside real quick.
Okay, so
I'm just going to drop some names here real quick. I mean, I know we
Yeah.
talked about Logan potentially playing on the wing. I know that's an option. And Logan has said he'll play wherever he wants. He just wants
They've
to play.
talked about it a lot this offseason. Is the only reason I say that.
He wants to play on the if they want him to play on the wing, he'll play on the wing. If he's at forward, he'll play forward. If they want to put him in a under striker, he's going to play that. The kid just wants to play, and I appreciate that about him. But
oh, for sure.
We've got just throwing some names out there that we have on the wing. We've got and he came up earlier when we talked about backs, but we've got Herbert Endeley. We've
Mhm.
got Bernie Kamungo, the Abilene Dream. We've got Anderson Julio, who just came into town. And we've got Leo Chu's in town now, too. So what are we thinking about these guys and where they fit in this forward?
I think-
core?
I think Julio is a world beater. I think, barring something, I think he starts. I think Kamungo needs to get loaned or sold at some place. Like, I love him, but I don't think he fits in this style. Well, he definitely didn't fit in style last year. Maybe Eric Quill will be a little better.
Yeah, who
I
knows?
mean, Eric Quill's the one who found him.
Yep.
Fair.
So I think we might
Very good
see the
point.
rebirth of we might have a breakout season from Kamungo, and I really hope we do because he was on pace to be like a superstar. Like we saw him just go crazy against Miami,
Mhm.
like just cooking 3 defenders and then getting it done. And then afterwards they were forcing him to play like this wingback role that he clearly wasn't comfortable in, and then like subbing him out for Dante Sealy, who just didn't want to do anything
God,
you
don't.
told him to.
Hey, Dante
Like-
already got signed, sir. So Dante's fine.
Wait, did he sign with
I mean, good-
Montreal?
Yeah. No, with Vancouver.
Vancouver.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
Gotcha.
good
Sorry.
for him. Like, I hope he wish him the best. Like, I still think Dante is a great player, but it just like whatever they wanted him to do, he did not want to do it.
I think Dante is one of those examples of I've been the best player at every level. And
Yeah, perfect example
once
of that, I think.
once you weren't the fastest, strongest, toughest guy, you realize
Didn't
like
overcome.
my 1-2 step over and run past you isn't going to work against grown-ups. So
And he just didn't
Anderson
overcome it.
Julio is an interesting one though, because I've had this conversation with like several people just at tailgates and everything. You know, I watched him play in RSL and everything, and it's one of those I was like, why don't we have a winger like that? Like the way he just commits to an attack and he just goes forward and he just sets up.
He's got
Like,
a great outside the box shot, too.
Yeah, like it's just that's something that I felt like if we would have pursued him a while back, like when Nico was the coach, but they just didn't. Like I was like, this is like the perfect. This is like better than what we wanted from Obrian, and
Yeah.
this is like so much better than what we got from like
This is
Obrian.
Obrian with a touch of class. Obrian
Why-
is great up until the end.
And he's
Right, he
able to
did.
look forward. He's
Yeah,
able to
he
look
did.
That
forward
little
and see where
donkey
he's
touch in front of
going.
a goal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He does 75% of the work, and then the rest, it's So
My concern on the wings is I actually think we have a lot more question marks here than people want to admit. Chu is obviously a big question mark. We don't know how he's going to come back, or how he's like which Chu we're going to get yet.
Right,
Yeah.
so 23 Chu or
Kamungo is a
24 Chu is a big difference.
question mark for me because we don't know yet if he's going to bounce back under Quill. And I still think Julio is a question mark because I think he's a super high quality player, but he's never done it for a whole season starting. That's my only question mark with Julio. I think the
fair,
quality's
though.
there.
We
and if
also
can get him to
left
start
Siki off this
often
list as well.
Thing, I love Siki, but I think the reason
Obviously,
Siki,
depth piece.
I think Siki keeps getting signed because he doesn't cost anything and his ceiling's high.
And he
Right.
can play quite
I
a few different
personally
roles.
like him. I think if Siki plays a full season, he gets 5 goals, 3 assists. Right. He just has to play a full season. He's never actually gotten that.
I think we all like Siki, right? Like as a person, especially.
Yeah, like fun guy, always a smile on his face. He's one of those happy to be here guys, right?
And
I
he
think
brings energy when you put him on, which is
yes,
right.
You put. I would have preferred
that extra gear.
Yeah, I would have preferred last year that he got Dante's minutes, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Right. I would because Siki, as far as trapping the ball, like ball at feet, Siki, I think is the best player we have. Right. Once he has. I think he has, Iamendi, but again, touch of class. He's above everybody, right? It's him, Musa, and then a fall off underneath that. But I think Siki, really good. But his decision making, which I think has gotten better. But the thing about decision making is that you need to get minutes, right? You can make mistakes in practice and there's no consequence. The way you improve your decision making is by playing competitive games and realizing I can do that, I can't do this. But his salary is so low and he's no longer an international spot because he got his green card that you keep a guy like that. Right.
Yeah, exactly.
And
now
he can play the midfield too.
Yeah, exactly. And then to counter that point about Siki being cheap and everything, that's like one of the big concerns I have with these wingers right now with Anderson, Julio, and Leo Chu. Like they're both at hefty price tags, that like if we don't get results with them, that's a lot of cap they're eating up to like that we could use on something else, honestly. And it's one of those that it is a thought, something to think about.
I think you're absolutely right on Siki. He needs time to make the decision making happen because every really great pro in any sport doesn't think about the decisions they make. They just make them.
Mm-hmm.
And they have time to think about something else while they're just making the move. And if Siki gets to that, I would love to see that happen. But how old is he now, right? 27?
Yeah, I mean, he was a late draft pick. He did all 4 years of college.
Right, he can still develop, but we don't expect it to, right?
Yeah.
So hopefully they give him enough minutes to make it worthwhile. I think he's a great MLS piece, personally.
Yes.
All right, so overall letter grade for the offseason, and I'm going to include, we didn't really get too in-depth, but we've
no
got
grades for the wings?
All right, let's grade the wings. What are we thinking?
Who wants to go first?
C plus.
C plus. Okay.
Yeah, I think Bernard. Sorry, is a system. He's like a system quarterback, right? There's some quarterbacks who are like, put me anywhere, I'll win, and there's quarterbacks where I have to have a perfect line and a great offensive scheme. That's him. He has to be in a system where he fits.
Okay.
And to me, I don't know whether or not he fits. So, but you guys are right. Quill is who found him. So obviously you would assume he would know how to make the best use of him. Nice hat change there, Hubert. Good job.
I changed my hat like an hour ago.
Did you really? Oh, wow. Yeah, I just look at you in the eyes because I'm a gentleman.
I thought you were romantic.
Yeah. And then I think Julio is fantastic. He's beaten us on more than one occasions, like
That's
by
true.
himself, right? Right. Because FC Dallas has that thing where, like, if a guy plays really well against us, eventually we'll go get him. At least this time we got him while he was still young and not Franco, where it's like, hey, you were great 4 years ago or 5 years ago. Let's go spend way too much money to get you. Or I think he came on a free, actually, but
Surprised we didn't do that for Chicho Arango.
Fair enough.
All right,
But no,
RJ,
I think
what's your letter grade?
yeah. Go ahead.
I'm gonna give it a A minus. I think there's a lot of talent here, and there I think we're gonna find a really nice attack. That's one of the big upside is we're gonna see some pretty exciting attack, which we haven't seen for quite a while. So it seems like we're gonna actually score goals this time. We're not gonna be waiting around for them to do something. As long as they're able to get the ball and get it onto the attacking side, I think something is going to be created. These players that we have can definitely create something out of nothing.
Hubert, Wings, letter grade?
Wings for me are a B minus. I think there's too many questions for me to give it anything more than that. If those questions are answered at least average, I think I'll upgrade to a BB plus. But yeah, I just have a few too many questions. Although I
mean-
have very high hopes, and I think Julio especially, I think, is got the quality to really, really take this thing in another gear forward. I'm waiting to see what happens when he starts multiple games.
Yeah, I think Julio
And not a
33 games, 9 goals, 4 assists last season.
Yeah, but he was a super sub for those games.
Is that what? Okay, all right.
So I'm gonna go. I'm right on the cusp. I think of B plus, A minus. I will say this. I think when you look at it, apples to apples comparison of we've got Anderson Julio compared to Paul Arriola. I think it's an upgrade. When you look at Leo Chu over Dante Sealy, I think it's an upgrade.
That's fair. If I'm comparing to Sealy, I didn't even think about it that way.
Comparing to the guys that started, and granted, there were a lot of injuries last year, so there weren't. Really
Wait, who did we say was an upgrade over Paulie?
I think Anderson's an upgrade over Paul Arriola. Right
Ooh,
I know that's an unpopular opinion. I know he's a big locker room guy.
I can't commit either way on this one.
yeah, I can't. Ooh, let's call that a wash. Let's call that a wash.
Okay, you call it a dead heat, but I think he's a slight
revisit
upgrade.
this in a few weeks.
Yeah.
We'll see.
We can absolutely have this conversation again. Hold me to that. If I'm wrong, by all means, call me out. But I do think Anderson Julio is going to be an upgrade long term over Paul Arriola. I think we're watching a guy on the incline meet a guy on the decline on the way down. So that's why I'm right at that B plus, A minus for the Wings. But let's go around one last time, letter grade for the entire offseason, and let's include the coaching conversation as part of the overall letter grade for the club. I'll go first on this one since I haven't gone first on anything yet. I'm going to go, and I might be the outlier here, but I think we are in A minus territory. I think there are a couple question marks in the midfield. There are a couple question marks out on the wings. Center back is not decided yet. I think we have a committee. I think we have some decent pieces there. One more body between now and when the window closes would really be helpful. But I think the Acosta trade, the Acosta deal moves this way, way up. And I think, where we were even 3-4 weeks ago, I think we are in way better shape. And I think I'm way more positive than I was. So I'm going to go A minus. Hubert, you want to go next?
Sure. I'm going to give it a B plus because I think there was some ambition shown this offseason by offloading all these contracts the way they did aggressively. Sucks to lose a couple of players that you like or you wish had come through a little bit more. But I think the team showed ambition. They brought in a superstar, which is always, something to write home about for FC Dallas. I don't think the defense has gotten better, which as far as I'm concerned, if it didn't get better in this league, it got worse. But I think bringing the young guys in at defense is going to be a long-term step in the right direction. Like I said, I have questions on the wing. I have questions about what the six is going to look like. And up front, I'm excited. I think those three players will be rotating, and I think all of them are just going to be firing off. So B plus, and the plus is mostly because I think there's some ambition, and if they keep doing that, it'll be wonderful for a rebuild.
Excellent. Arjun?
I'm gonna give it a B plus. I think it's B plus pushing A minus, but it's kind of crazy. We had a hell of a roster apocalypse. Like it was just insane. Like it was blown up and kind of re-put back together, put back together very quickly. And in like the span of maybe a month, we went from, okay, we need some pieces to we're definitely going to be in contention for the wooden spoon to, we might actually make the playoffs there. and be a dark horse. I don't think we'll get as far as the cup, but we could definitely upset someone in the first round if they're not careful.
Marcus, letter grade. Final thoughts on the roster.
Come on, knock us down.
Wow.
This guy's gonna say like C minus. Watch.
That's a loaded question.
There's something lower than a D.
The center backs are my issue, right? If we
Letter grade. Put a letter on it. Do it.
B minus.
Okay.
B minus. I think
Always the schedule.
I think Acosta and Musa are sufficiently world class enough to drag us to 6th or 5th in the West.
Right. Kicking and screaming.
Yeah.
All right. Any final thoughts before we talk about Guardian business?
I mean, we haven't talked about the coaching change. What do we think? Do we think Eric Quill over Peter
Upgrade.
Lucy?
Final thought. That's it. Absolute upgrade.
I think Quill's
Upgrade?
an
That's
upgrade
it?
over Luxon personally. I think he's exactly who we expected the Huts to go for.
Okay.
And yeah, that's where I'm at. Right. He's
Yeah.
exactly what I expected. So
I think he is the right guy, right place, right time. I think it's going to be. I think we're going to see a couple good years out of Quill.
Yeah.
Okay.
Too.
I don't expect anything better from the Hunts, if I'm being frank. So
To be
I don't
honest,
see
when
them going out
when they
to,
were-
like get something.
when they were like, "Oh, we're gonna do a proper search," I'm like, "Where's Eric Quill again?" And then New Mexico was like, "Oh, we just redid his deal, so he's not going anywhere." And I'm like, "Come on now!" Like,
I don't know if you guys want to spend the time on this or not, but do we want to make position predictions?
Yeah, let's do it.
Build a starting 11.
No, that's not what I meant. Sorry, I meant
no, position in the
Playoff
table.
position. Table position.
So half the league makes the playoff. So I'm gonna say yes, we make the playoff, barring
Okay,
massive
so
injuries.
guaranteed home game, playoff, whatever the mid-table spot, or a play-in game.
What's guaranteed home game? 4, right? 4 and up.
4.
Yeah, I think so.
Eh,
And then 8 and 9 are play-in, right?
Yep.
I said 6th or 5th, so I'm going to stick with that. I think we'll have to play away, and hopefully that away is not Seattle and or Portland, and then we might have a shot.
Nightmares.
Yes, absolute nightmares.
Any team that
Oh.
has the color green in it, I just would rather not play.
I think we are going to be comfortably 6th. I think we will have our position decided before decision day. That's my prediction. Arjun?
I'm gonna say, I think 6th. The West is looking very sparse right now.
So many questions about the West, man.
Yeah, there's just a lot there's a lot about this Western Conference right now. If we were in the Eastern Conference, I'd be like, yeah, we're not making the playoffs. It just ain't happening. But we're in the West, so I think we have a nice shot at being mid-table.
Yeah, I think LAFC is still LAFC. The Galaxy have to wait on Ricky Puig to come back.
Yeah.
Seattle, I think, reloaded mostly with our players.
Bro, they're so deep.
So we don't know what San Diego
champions this year too.
Yeah, we don't know what San Diego is going to bring as an expansion club.
Yeah.
I looked at their roster and it's a hodgepodge, but that's what.
Dude, it is like highs and lows on that.
Yeah,
roster.
yeah. It's
I'm not expecting much out of that San Diego roster.
yeah. So and then
I
San
don't
Jose might not be good, but they're usually our boogeyman.
Well, and
So there's
Bruce
that.
Arena just does random shit with these teams sometimes.
Yeah, so it's like
I don't know.
I'm saying 5th or 6th because if we can go back to FC Dallas of old, where we're either going to win or lose 1-0. So either we're going to hold it to the very last minute and score a late goal, or we're going to hold it 0-0 thinking we're getting a tie and then they score a late goal. If we can get back to that, 5th or 6th. If we can do Matt Hedges at his prime, where it's you're not getting in unless we mess up, then we can definitely be, third, second or third. So it just depends on what these center backs bring, to be completely honest with you. Um,
I think we're going to
if
see a
we
lot
if
of
we
attack out of this club, and I think we're going to
yeah.
see a lot of goals given up, but we're going to see a lot of attack. Like I said
Wait.
earlier, I think we're looking at a lot of like 5-3, 5-4 games, and it's going to be exciting. It might not always go our way, but it's going to be exciting. And I'm going to say we're going to land mid-table, but we're going to be knocking on the door of a home game on decision day.
I just
Okay.
think we need to just if we focus and don't drop points at home, and especially don't drop points away. Even if they're like the ugliest draws, like just
All right.
get a
So
result away.
Arjun is giving us a John Madden here. If you score points, you're gonna win.
I was gonna say, I was like, that's the
honestly,
John
like,
Madden.
that was I was literally gonna say John Madden. I was just
That's the
like,
John Madden.
get
I
some
love it. I
points,
love it though.
Not
because
technically wrong.
that's been the problem in the past 2 years. Like,
Finish the game,
it's
execute. Yeah.
yeah, like because that's the thing in our away games. We look fine, and then we drop points, and
You
then
shut off at the last
then we
second.
have to hear Nico saying, "Oh, soccer is a cruel game." Like we played so well, but we dropped points. I was like, "Well, we clearly didn't play well enough."
It's even crueler when you're a bad coach. But
Yeah.
He's not a bad coach. He's the reason
he's
college
assistant
football.
coach.
No, he's the reason you ever notice like college football coaches never really do well in the NFL? It's because it's different when you tell kids, hey, do this, do that. And it's different when you go tell grown-ups. It's a different coaching style. He coached the academy and he's great at the academy. He's sick at the academy, but coaching guys, close to his age, because he's a young guy. And you've never played professional sports. What can you tell me about although Bruce Arena, I think, didn't Bruce Arena coach lacrosse or something? Like, he's an anomaly where he never coached soccer before coaching soccer and then became arguably the league's best coach.
Some guys just know the game different, though.
Yeah, so.
I think that Nico is too much of a detail-oriented guy, and he's too much of a tinkerer for me.
Is that what it is? Yeah.
That's for me.
No, not to beat on the dead horse that is the Nico era, but good luck in Austin. They're going to need it. But
yeah, they spent a lot of money on a bunch of stuff.
I think Nico really wants to play a European style ball, but he doesn't have the pieces for that. And you're never going to have the pieces to do that. You're never going to have enough depth and enough playmakers to do that in MLS, at least not the current version of MLS that exists today. So I don't think he's quite cut out for what this league is.
Yeah.
And
DBG business.
DBG business. It's a great start. So we're gonna push this out on all of our socials. So if you're seeing this on YouTube, if you're seeing this on X, formerly Twitter, if you're seeing this on Facebook, if you're seeing this on Instagram, go follow our other social media. We are at Dallas Guardians on everything. You can find us just about everywhere. And if you want to come see us in person, that's where we really thrive. And if you want to contradict anything we said, if you want to prove us wrong, by all means, come up and debate. We absolutely love it. But this weekend, some of us will be in Houston cheering on the boys against the hated Ancient Orange that we have to deal with, and
our one and only rival.
Our one and only rival,
the Houston Dynamo.
So we'll be down there in Houston. For those of you that are still up in the Metroplex, we will be hosting watch parties at both Community in Dallas and Derbyshire in Frisco Square. Next week, we will also be at Derbyshire for the Beer Guardians Town Hall to kick off the season, and that'll be a watch party for the Colorado game. And then on Friday night, March 7th, we kick off the 24-hour tailgate. Let's talk about that for just like a minute or two, guys. I've actually never been to a full 24-hour, so what are we going to expect here?
When you say a full 24-hour, you mean you were there for all 24, or you haven't been to the tailgate?
I mean, I showed up like an hour. I showed up like an hour before the game on like the first game. I've never been there for a full event.
I can't speak for Marcus and Arjun, but I think I'm one of the few people who stayed for all 24 hours.
Yeah, it was you and Charlie because y'all are lunatics. Yeah.
We camp out. So, yeah, no, 24-hour tailgate is pretty great. We literally just have beer, food from 7 p.m. until 7 p.m. the next day, right before kickoff. People come and go as they please. Sometimes, FC Dallas personnel such as Dan Hunt will show up and just hang out, which is fun. But yeah, it's a good time to get to know all the other supporters that are around. Sometimes, we'll just start playing dumb stuff like pickleball. Sometimes we'll just stand around and talk. There's beer. Some people usually bring liquor. There's plenty of snacks. play lots of games. I think this year we're hoping to have a FIFA tournament, something like that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
if you feel up to it and the weather's good, bring a tent and camp out with some of us.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Show up with a camper.
hopefully
There's plenty of room in the
weather is
parking lot
gonna
too.
be. Hopefully the weather's gonna be really good.
Yeah,
May
I
do
think-
some
It's in
late
March,
night J
weather
League
could be
streaming.
great.
Yeah, I think with our first game not being the first game, and we get 2 weeks, I think we might actually get mid-60s, which would be a change for us. 24 hours normally. Actually, this is not a good selling point. No, the weather's great. Come on out.
Drink enough to get warm. That's all.
Yeah. We'll have
Drink enough to stay warm.
There's usually a
We're gonna be
fire
out. We'll be out moving around, hanging out, playing games, having a good time. We'll kick some balls around. We'll
Everyone's welcome. It's not just DBG. EM, Mudiga will be out there. You know, they always come out. Anybody can come. You don't have to be a member of a supporters group either.
absolutely. So come hang out, check out our socials, come hang out
It's
at one
free.
of our events, come meet us in Houston, come hang out with the supporters, come cheer on the boys, and we'll be back next week with a post-game show. Maybe we'll get into some kit talk. Maybe we'll talk some Trinity if we've got a few extra minutes on that too.
Oh, we'll make time. We'll make time.
Excellent. So
Yeah.
we'll see y'all next week.
Hold on. I've always wanted to say this. Like, share, and subscribe. No, I'm just kidding.
Yes. Yes.